All right, thank you very much. Can I share this?
From Pride TV News Online.
All right. Thank you very much. You are highly welcome. We begin the event, which is the international Zoom conference to commemorate the 2020 Nelson Mandela International Day. And again, we welcome you. Presenting the address for the event is my humble self, OTAKWU, Country Director of IMPART Africa, on this Zoom conference. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we welcome you all to this event. We are glad to have you again here. May I request that we first observe a minute silence in honor of the daughter of the late Nelson Mandela, in person of Comrade Zindzi Mandela, who passed a few days ago. May the soul of Comrade Zindzi Mandela and all the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. Your Excellencies and our distinguished guests may recall that the United Nations General Assembly in 2009 declared 18th of July as International Day for Nelson Mandela, in recognition of the values, commitment, and contributions of the late African leader to development and humanitarian services. As part of our programs to commemorate this year's event, IMPART Africa has organized this conference with theme Leadership and Innovation as Panaceas for Development in Post-COVID-19 Africa. And the theme was well chosen in order to reposition Africa at a moment of great global anxiety when the entire world is plagued by the COVID-19 pandemic. The conference is to Okay. Your Excellencies, as part of programs to commemorate this year's event, we have put this conference together to examine the challenges of insecurity, the challenges of food shortage, and the economic downturn confronting the continent, and to recommend measures that can surmount these challenges. Certainly the need for effective, visionary, and committed leadership on the continent, as well as innovation in science. The search for COVID-19 vaccine cannot be overemphasized. Equally important is the need for technological innovation in the fight against terrorism and insurgency. Participants for the conference have been well chosen and drawn from respective professional backgrounds across the continents of the world to examine and to look into the subject under discourse. The conference speaker, in the person of His Excellency Engineer Dr. Ahmed Hamdy, is Engineer Hamdy Ahmed, His Excellency, is highly vast, and he's a highly respected African. And he's well-read, well-studied, and he's been part of the development of Africa in the last 1 decade. And he's well-equipped intellectually and otherwise to do justice to the subject in question. We're taking occasion of this celebration to honor 5 eminent citizens of the continent in recognition of their contributions to the development of humanity and development of the continent, and the very ideals by which the late Dr. Nelson Mandela lived. We honor His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, as most outstanding African leader for his war on corruption that earned him the African Union Anti-Corruption Leader, his fight against COVID-19 that earned him the ECOWAS Champion of the Regional Response, his commitment to regional security and integration, and his development of agriculture, infrastructure, science, and technology. We honor His Excellency President John Pombe Magufuli of Tanzania in recognition for his contributions to public health care delivery and rapid development of education in Tanzania. We honor His Excellency President Paul Kagame of Rwanda in recognition of we honor His Excellency Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, Director General World Health Organization, for his contributions to public health safety, especially in the fight against COVID-19. We honor His Excellency Engineer Dr. Ahmed Hamdy for his contributions to the development of science, technology, and innovation on the continent. These 5 have impacted enormously on lives and development on the continent, especially since the demise of the late Dr. Nelson Mandela, whom we celebrate today. We congratulate you and we encourage you to continue in your good work. We appreciate the Conference of Civil Society of Nigeria and Civil Society Center for Leadership and Followership, non-governmental organizations and participants from Europe, America, Asia, and other parts of the world, and all partners and participants for being part of this event. We especially appreciate the Executive Director of the African Union Scientific, Technical, and Research Commission, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Hamdy, once again, we congratulate all Africans on this special day. We congratulate the entire world, and we say a happy Nelson Mandela International Day celebration to you all. Thank you very much, and remain blessed. To continue with the event, we would like to recognize the presence of a few persons who are gracing the conference, who are part of the lecture. We have here online the Nigerian Television Authority. We have other media organizations. We have Plus Television Africa. We have CNA Africa. We have His Excellency online, Barrister Muhammad Abubakar, former governor of Bauchi State. You are welcome, sir. He's joining us. We have Natalie from Europe, from Ukraine. She's online. We have Dr. Victoria from the United States of America. We have others. We have a whole lot of over almost 120 persons trying to join the Zoom conference. We'll be joining them one after the other. We have participants from Asia. We keep apologizing for the technical breakdown.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Please, I would like to, the network is a bit bad here.
Okay.
I would like to hear the name of the personalities online again, please. Those present.
Okay. Yeah, we have online, if you have to mention, we have online the Executive Director of the African Union Scientific, Technical and Research Commission, His Excellency Engineer Dr. Ahmed Hamdy. We have online also Natalia from Ukraine, Europe. We have Dr. Victoria from the United States of America. We have Chief Dr. Mrs. Pauline. We have His Excellency Barrister Mohammed Abubakar, immediate past governor of Bauchi State, on the line. We have Nigerian Television Authority. We have other media organizations, Plus Television Africa, Pride Television. We have Channel Network Africa Online. We have other people. We have over 120 guests online now. We'll be admitting them one after the other. We have Pride Television online. So several guests are online. So we'll be admitting them one after the other. But for the few that we've taken their introduction, we will go on. When they come in, we recognize them. We'll go to the lecture presentation from the conference lecturer, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Hamdy, Executive Director, African Union Scientific, Technical and Research Commission.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Adams. Colleagues, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so delighted to be with you today. And it's my honor to be participating in such an important day for commemorating the great Nelson Mandela Madiba. Allow me Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Excellency.
Okay. Yes, I need just to share my screen. I think there is no response from you need to allow me to share my screen, please.
Okay. You can go on and share your screen now, Your Excellency.
Yes, please. Okay. So by the time we are trying to solve this problem, allow me first to start to talk about the
Your Excellency.
I'm back.
Yes, we lost you earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, sorry for that. So now I'm just going to share my screen where I'm able to show my presentation. Okay. So allow me once more to start by welcoming all you colleagues and scientists, personnel of the media, excellencies who are availed their time for this meeting to commemorate the great Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela is a movement himself. He's a person, a move, a country, and a move, a continent. So the International Day of Nelson Mandela, this is the day where we commemorate the great Nelson Mandela for his impact on every African life and the life of our sisters and brothers in South Africa. I would like to thank IMPART Africa for organizing this webinar. And thank you very much, Dr. Adams and your colleagues and team for making this to happen.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
A man lived long with us, describe his life and the way we should live a life that impact and make differences on others' lives. For him, life is a leadership journey that needs commitment, passion, and a change, and finally, the legacy you leave behind. And we believe that Nelson Mandela, he left a lot of legacy, not only for the sisters and brothers in South Africa, rather to all Africans. And he will be inspired not only this generation, but the one to come. What is it challenging Africa today? What are the problems we have in Africa today? Everybody's talking about. From a child in their preschools to those elderly sitting somewhere enjoying their life, the COVID-19. But what is the COVID facts? COVID facts. On May 11, 2020, I was giving a presentation on COVID-19. And I find myself in July 17, 18, I'm giving another presentation. So I decided to compare what is really the situation between the two presentations, the differences. In May 2020, the cases was 4.2 million in the world. And this is around 300,000. But in July 11, when I was preparing this presentation, I find that the total infected people by COVID-19 is 12.7 million, and that this has become around 600,000. But what is the situation in Africa? We started to know about the first case reported in Africa. It was around 17th of March 2020. By 27th of April, just 35 days later, we have 33,000 cases. In May 11, the number is doubled. But what happened in these few months is between May and July, the number of Africa now is become like around 600,000. And the deaths we are talking about 13,000 plus. But what is remain similar in my post presentation and never be changed is the fact that COVID-19 has no cure, no treatment, and no vaccine yet. So what are the challenges we have in the continent? Just to see the challenges we have in the continent, we try to compare what we have pre-COVID and what we have during the COVID period and what we are expecting post-COVID period. In the pre-COVID period, we have a lack of healthcare facility and system for COVID. This is the days we are living big education system. We have lack in our utilities, clean water, electricity, infrastructure. We have an economy that mainly relies on oil and gas and other minerals. We are driven by loans and grants. We have job creation architecture system that considered to be very weak. We have food and nutrition insecurity. We have national unrest and conflict, and you can add to this. So when COVID-19 came to our life, the picture will never been better. The picture even been worse. So our weak system is being more inefficient and being more exhausted. More intra-Africa cooperation. This is the good news. We have now more intra-Africa cooperation in science and technology and innovation, but the problem again is still we don't have enough funds. Less enrollment in schools and higher rate of dropout and injustice and inequality in education between rural and between rural and urban areas. More demand and pressure on our fragile system when we are talking about utilities. We have economic slowdown and decrease in our GDP. We are expecting some of our member states to grow up with a negative percentage. 70% of our workforce are suffering because this is equally in the informal or a formal sector. We have more shortage happening in our food and nutrition because we are not able to import and export foods and move foods between our states and our national and our cities. That for sure present for us more conflicts and more internal displaced persons. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and colleagues from the media, scientists who participated here, what is really the image is going to be post-COVID-19? We will have a crushed health facilities. That means we are going to have a poor healthcare industry because most of our resources and national budget allocated for health was exhausted during the time we are fighting and trying to compete COVID-19. For science and technology, this energy came to scientists and passion will be decreased with time. So we are going to have less interest in intra-Africa research once more. In the schools, the number of people drop out from schools will be increased, and the injustice and inequality will be more. The utility system will be collapsing or malfunctioning. We will have economic pressure and recession. More poor people will be introduced to our statistics. More hunger, more IDBs. And this is the image, to be frank with you. So everyone, when he felt sorry and hopeless, to the level she or he, let it go. I don't care, let it go. I will jump out. So the consequences will be regretted more and more when the damage can't be restored. Let us go to Madiba to inspire us, recalling that Madiba in his legacy never let it go. He dedicated his life for change. So we consider Madiba is one of the great leaders of change in this century. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated and passionate about what they do. And this is Nelson Mandela. So what we are dedicated for? We are African Union. We have a vision, an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in international arena. Dr. Adams, since we are not sitting together in the same place, if you see that I'm exceeding my time, please advise me. Thank you very much. What are we passionate for? We are passionate for the Africa we want. How we can go there? We will go there by having the understanding what is Africa based on inclusive growth, sustainable development, integrated continent politically united and based on the ideal pan, an Africa of good governance, democracy, respect of human rights, justice, and rule of law, a peaceful and secure Africa, an Africa with a strong culture identity, an Africa where the development is by African people, by our women, by our youth, by our children. Africa is a strong, united, resilient, this is the Africa. We need to have a political entity, a strong, influential, and global player. We need to have our rightful role to play, to be there when they decided for us. Developments of people, the development should be people-driven. So the one to benefit is the people. The one is to decide what to be done and what not to be done, prioritize plans, prioritize everything we are doing in Africa should be the people we serve them. And finally, this will never happen unless we have a good governance and democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, we are late, but it's good to come late rather than to be missed out. The planning for tomorrow starts today. This is the way of Africa, or maybe it starts tomorrow. But in other places in the world, it starts before yesterday and day before yesterday. So what is happening on the ground? The Africa Scientific Research and Innovation Council is an advisory body was set in place by the head of states and government of the African Union, composed of African scientists to advise the member states when the need be to help our member states to achieve their development agendas and goals through scientific ways. As of the pandemic started, we set in place of policies that Africa is able to achieve its goal, which is minimize the impact of COVID-19. The AFRIC came with a press release in 27th of April and a statement where he established, along with the advisory board working group to study the impact of COVID-19 on Africa's food and nutrition, working group on the study socio-economic impact, knowledge to utilize Afro-centric response to COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, post-COVID-19 pandemic challenges and interventions. We are talking about poor health industry. For able to we are doing mapping for the pandemic to understand what kind of research is happening here and there in the continent. For sure, there is intra-Africa cooperation. This is all is a system that to take Africa from poor health industry to a strong healthcare industry. And this system is built on healthcare services and facilities. Medical devices, equipments, and hospitals. Supplies manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, this stress they have, less recognition by our governments and member states and all after the pandemic. The other problem we are facing, the number of physicians in Africa, we can't tell them just go away, we don't need you anymore. The average in Africa is 0.23 physician for 1,000 of our population. That means for 10,000 African people, we have 2.3 physicians. But what is the average in the world? It's 1.4 for each 1,000. This is how we can conceptualize the importance of quality health. And that if you have a quality health care, you will be able to achieve the SDGs and Agenda 2063 aspiration, along with the Science and Technology and Innovation Strategy for Africa 2024. We have a struggle STI system. How we can change the STI system into a strong system. And by the way, what I'm presenting here, we are talking about health research, but this could be implemented in any other sectors. We need to have public interest in clinical research, boost our technical and professional competencies, increase fund allocation, improve protocols, increase dissemination of research, increase research infrastructure, promote an advocacy program for clinical research and translation. And this will be diffused when we have a proper physical infrastructure and we have mechanisms and policies for enabling environment, a proper research translation guidelines, a proper ethical committees, a proper buy-in from the government, from national pharmaceutical companies and others. But what is the facts on the ground? We said This is the time to tell it as it is, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Fund allocation to clinical research in Africa, 57% of our sample, they said it's insufficient. 25% they said there is no fund allocation at all. While there is 18% they are saying it's sufficient. Libraries, where you got the knowledge, you go to library. When we are students in the PhD level, when we go to our professors and we say we have difficulties of this, he say, go to the library, do your search and come back. If you couldn't find it in our library, visit other universities' library. But what is in Africa? 50% of they say this is an old version. And we have 18% only saying up to date. So this is maybe in the top most universities in Africa. So what about the spending? The spending, our governments, head of states and governments, in 2007, January, in Addis Ababa Declaration for Science and Technology, they committed themselves for 1% GDP. Believe me, to be spent in scientific research. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, none of our member states are even approached to be nearby the 1% GDP. There is some pressure here and there to achieve the 1%, but this is maybe we can quote 2-3 member states like Republic of South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia. And this is maybe the only one we can quote. Weak education system. What is an education? Facts we have. The fact is that 1.9 million child being robbed out of an education due to violence and insecurity around their schools. Where these people? Burkina, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Democratic, out of school children in the whole world. 35, a bad news or a good news, whatever you name it, but it's something you need to know it. 1 of every 5 in the world out of school is a Nigerian. This is not a good record. We will not be happy as a Nigerian or as an African to have this to be accredited to us. What is the way forward? We need to change poor education system to strong health education system. What is inclusive or inclusion education system? All students, regardless of any challenges they may have or placed in an age-appropriate general education classes that are in their own neighborhood schools to receive high quality interventions and supports that enable them to meet success in the core curriculum. In such situation, ladies and gentlemen, of COVID-19 and beyond, what is the way to for every child on board? Should we have a distance learning? We have difficulties in this conference of connection. So that means not everybody connection, not everybody connected. That means distance learning is a way, but is not a solution. Should we have a community teacher concept, an education message to be delivered by traditional communication methods? I mean TV and radio. But is it relevant for mathematics and sciences? So those people with ties and sitting in their offices, they are trying to solve a problem. They are not really fully involved in it. What we need to do, we need to listen to the voice of the young one, dropped out schooling, and to hear them and understand them. Why? Because they are the expert. I mean, they are the victims of policies and strategies they never tailored to them. The voice of parents must be heard. Why we must hear the people's income for the families in the rural areas? So we need to listen to the parents and negotiate with them the terms that we are able to enroll their kids in schools. Laws and legislation will not alone solve the problem. Inclusion education system. We need our education curriculum to be tailored to address community economic relevance. And I repeated, education should be addressing communities' economic relevance. That means rural education curriculums should be different from those of the urban areas. And the fact is that city kids are different from those grown up in the village, since they have different accumulated experiences. In other words, rural area economic advantage and diversity should be considered in curriculum development to ensure that the education responds to the community needs and to have ownership by their community, and this is the way we're seeing it. For food and nutrition and hunger, Dr. Adams, I need to be advised on the timing, please. If there is, I'm delaying everybody, just let me know, please. Thank you. Food and nutrition.
Continue, Your Excellency. Continue, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. Thank you very much
yes.
for your patience.
Yes.
So, we are talking about food nutrition in the insecurity and more hunger. What is the factors on what is the fact on the ground? Agriculture production in the continent is projected to contract to between 2.6% to 7%. The food import is declining, and it's expected to be from 13% to 25% in Africa. In Africa, 63%, and I'm saying 63% of children under 5 years are already anemic. 26% of Africa's population is at risk. They are at risk of being zinc deficient. Lockdown resulted in less human activities, which increased the types and numbers of pests. Economic impact is disastrous. What we need to do as an intervention for this? First of all, we need to have a genuine situational analysis on the food and nutrition security. And I believe a genuine that when we send out surveys and questionnaires, we shouldn't be receiving the answer, everything is okay and great and nice, which is not the truth. We need our national statistics offices in African Union member states to bring the realities for scientists, to tell us this is the truth, this is the reality, this is the challenges we are facing. Because if we are able to understand what is the problems we are facing, we will be able to provide and assist in addressing the challenge. Guideline or regulation on transport shipment of foods and agro products, especially during the time of pandemics. Impact of COVID-19. On the component of people in the lower house, upper house, ministers, DGs, and so on, promote domestic agriculture, agro-businesses. And this is very important because we need to add value to our products that are coming out from our field or dairies or our rivers and oceans. Capacity audit, this is for the whole spectrum of agriculture, starting from those teaching to university till the farmers in their farm. This is the way we can come out with an African strategy that realistic to solve our food and nutrition system. What is happening in our economy? And for socio-economic, and I believe because the time constraint, I will not take much talking about other socio-economic challenges. What is the problem here we have economy is driven by commodity. And then we have a decline in our GDP growth that will have a weak system in economic management that will have a more vulnerable public debt, weak investments, large dominant and formal sectors. That will result in high poverty, unemployment, weak social protection, worsening household welfare, reduced expenditure on health, reduced expenditure in education, and worsening social indicators. This is what is happening. The World Bank microeconomic and physical model shows that growth in sub-Saharan Africa could be reduced by 5.2 in 2020 compared to the non-COVID basis. That means our GDP growth in the region is projected to drop to minus 2.1%. Ladies and gentlemen, we need just to close our eyes and imagine we have 60% of our population is receiving $1.25 a day. This is the living. They are living with $1.25 a day. So our communities are going to be safe. Our communities are going to be productive. Our communities are going to be more healthy. Our communities are going to be more educated. I need you to answer this. From December 2019 to March 2020, the crude oil price dropped 56%. So most of our economies is a traditional based economy because we just go to the mine or to the well and bring the oil. We put it in the ship, they take it, they send us small dollars out of it, or we are relying on debt or international grants and supports. So this is so what we need to do. We need to have a temporary debt relief to preserve macroeconomic stability. Social protection program to support workers, especially those in the informal sector, is needed. Customize the policy response to reflect structure features of the African economy. Work together to coordinate, strengthen monetary and financial policy effectiveness, improve quality of public expenditure, diverse economy, and strengthen private sector development. And finally, fighting corruption, fighting corruption, fighting corruption, fighting corruption. And I believe His Excellency, the champion of fighting corruption in the African Union, His Excellency Buhari, he did a great job, and he's advising his colleagues, head of states and so what is this national economy design? We need to design a national economy model that builds on innovation. Innovation, yes. We can have an economy in Africa built on innovation. And when we are talking about innovation, we're not talking about shuttles, we are not talking about vessels, we are not talking about those rockets. We're talking about inclusive economy. That coming from inclusive innovation. And what inclusive innovation could do for Africa, Hamdy? Yes, inclusive innovation in Africa will respond to the 2/3 population needs. We need to have innovations in Africa that are able to address the needs of the purchasing power community that spend less than $5 a day. And believe me, this is 2/3 of the world population. And this is where China is making the money. So, Mr. Sermon, Mr. Director, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, yes, our kids' future matter. We in ASRIC, the African Union Scientific and Research and Innovation Council, who is composed of all the African scientists, has a passion and a dream. We are welcome, any of you who would like to come to join our movement to free Africa from economic and technological slavery. Brothers and sisters, Excellencies, we need to follow the steps of a great father on the long walk, in the long walk to freedom, to free Africa from economic and technological slavery. Together, we can. Thank you, Madiba. Thank you, Nelson Mandela, for showing us the way for our prosperity and resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, Excellencies, Mr. Director of IMPART AFRICA, I would like to thank you all for your patience and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. We are quite grateful. We feel honored with this wonderful presentation. And we really say that we are touched. We have been given more insight. We've been given an eye-opener to the challenges confronting the continent and the immediate ways forward. We thank you for your submission, very awesome submission. We'd like to take a few questions, but before we do that, we would like the special guest of honor we have here and the chair of this event, His Excellency, Barrister Mohammed Abubakar, to give, we have His Excellency's picture, face here now. The television, welcome, Your Excellency. Nice to have you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. We request His Excellency, Barrister Mohammed Abubakar, immediate past governor of Bauchi State, to make his remarks. A remark because he's the one chairing the event. Thank you very much, Barrister. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Comrade, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Your Excellency.
All right, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first related to be invited as a guest of honor in an occasion such as this, the celebration of an African icon, or the African icon, because I mean, there's no other than Nelson Mandela. I feel highly honored to be part of this celebration. I commend the presenter such paper that will, if implemented, lead to the solving of a lot of problems of Africa post-COVID pandemic. And I believe we should strive to turn all the negatives into positives during the period post this system. And I must say some progress because we started off, for example, with a very few research laboratories. Today, we have about 40 of such research laboratories spread all over the country. I think that's the starting point. We we are now becoming aware of the need for us to restructure our health architecture. And I think that should be a plus coming to the COVID days in Nigeria and in Africa. I thank you most profusely for inviting me, and it's an event worth celebrating. An icon like no other, Late Nelson Mandela. Thank you, and God bless everybody.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, for that wonderful contribution. We appreciate. We thank you very much for giving us that warm insight. Thank you very much. We'll also invite Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Pauline Olonta to give her brief remark. From South Africa, Chief Mrs. Pauline Olonta. Oh, could you kindly unmute and give the, kindly unmute Chief Olonta.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adams. I am highly delighted that I am one of you this morning. I highly appreciate this meeting, and my prayer is that IMPART Africa will do so much to bring the member states of African nations together and make us one. Thank you, and thank you again.
All right, thank you very much, Madam, for that wonderful contribution. For any questions or contributions, kindly send your chat to us so that we announce you for your contributions. Meanwhile, we request Mr. Nelson from Poland to give his brief remark. Mr. Nelson, are you there?
Yes, please.
Yes, can you?
Yes, please. Okay, please, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I mean, first of all, I want to really appreciate the lead presenter, His Excellency Dr. Hamdy. That was an awesome presentation. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Dr. Adams. Thank you very much for inviting me here. And I mean, this is indeed awesome. And, you know, when we have a meeting of such, it gives me great pleasure, you know, having been named after the great Madiba. And I always live to appreciate his contribution. I remember growing up as a young child, you know, when we always have to watch the South African movies and all of that. So I want to say sincerely that IMPART Africa is doing a whole lot. And with this kind of meetings and engagements, it is, there is indeed light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to appreciate everyone who is part of this meeting, and together we can do much more. And just like the great Madiba would say, that it is only through, you know, freedom, you know, and sacrifice, it's only through hardship and sacrifice that freedom can be won. He did live all through his life fighting for that freedom. And we must continue on the legacy he has left behind. Africa must be free, and together we can achieve that freedom. Thank you very much, Dr. Adams. Thank you, everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure to be part of this meeting. Thank you very much, Dr. Adams.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Now, thank you very much, Nelson from Europe. We appreciate. We have a question from NTA. We have one from Plus TV, and we have another one from United States of America. But we'll be very brief. Can we take the question from Plus TV, please? I mean, from Plus TV Africa.
Good morning, everyone. A very nice presentation. Good morning, everyone. A very nice presentation by our presenter. And my question goes to the presenter. Doctor, during your presentation, you spoke about the need for governance to actualize democracy in Africa. Now, Doctor, the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the vulnerability of the health systems of many nations, both in Africa and beyond. This was solely because of poor funding of the health sector and health industries, mostly as a result of systemic corruption, mismanagement of resources, brain drains, and a host of other factors, which also includes insecurity. Now, Doctor, in a typical African society, already bedeviled the challenges mentioned earlier, and even extending further to illiteracy, unemployment, and widespread poverty, which have over the years groomed millions of Africans, millions of the African electorate to depend on every penny to survive, thereby becoming desperate. How can a true democracy be actualized, and will it be possible to predict time in the future when it can be actualized in the whole of Africa? Did you get my question, Doctor?
Yes, I think you got it. Yes, the second question is coming from NTA.
Good morning, all participants. Can you hear me?
Yeah, they can.
Good morning, His Excellency, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you for that insightful lecture. My question is this. The African continent is being confronted with lots of challenges. The economic situation, which has remained on the non-sustainability line, and then the poverty line keep increasing. This is with Nigeria inclusive. What is your advice to the African leaders on how to surmount these challenges? And you talked about the poor populace living below $5 per day. What measures do you think African leaders will employ in order to tackle this menace? Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you for that wonderful those questions. Your Excellency, are you there? Hello? Okay.
Dr. Adams.
Yes, Your Excellency, we're here. Sorry.
Yeah, the last question. I was disconnected, so you can kindly summarize it. Yeah.
Okay. The last question. Let me request. The question was from the Nigerian Television Authority, asking that the measures that African leaders should take to reduce the endemic poverty level in Africa.
And then how would it go about economic sustainability?
And what can be done about economic sustainability on the continent? Yes. These are the two questions from Nigerian Television Authority.
Yes.
You can go on, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much indeed, colleagues. Democracy in Africa during the pandemic. That's to shorten the question. Where does democracy start from? Democracy never started from top-bottom approach. We need to have a democracy in our houses. We need to learn our kids to listen to them. This is the starting point. When you start to educate your kids, you need to tell them that they are free to express themselves. And there is no consequences for when they are going to address any of issues or challenging the parents. But the easy way for any parents is just you start to shout and stop them from talking. Democracy is something to be learned and taught in our schools. Teachers need to listen to the students. Started in the students' union. When the students' union are able to talk to teachers and to principals in the schools. It starts in university level when the students' union are able to challenge the vice chancellors and professors in the universities. And then you can accumulate this to the top of the pyramid. Democracy is not something we are going to put in our legislation and our laws and we believe tomorrow we are going to achieve. It's a practice. It needs to start from the earlyhood of any human being is coming to us. This is the way I see democracy and how we can implement it. During the pandemic, we see great nations. They are facing trouble with democracy. We see great nations when a president is asking to lower the number of testing per day because he needs to have the statistics to show less people infected. We see democracy in the first class world when they are fighting together and stealing each other researches for the vaccine or for the treatment. You know, it's something need to start in the earlyhood. Are we in the proper direction? Yes, there is some countries in the proper directions. I can name few. I can name Nigeria. I can name South Africa. There are other countries we can name that they have a democracy that is successful and we need to learn from in Africa. So the Nigerian example is a very great example that there is a democracy, there is a freedom of talk. You people, media, you're freely talking against the government, against what you don't like, and you put it in your newspaper and TV. And since I came to Nigeria, I see a lot of realities are reflected in the media. And this is, I need to congratulate all of you for doing that.
Thank you very much.
I think I need to stop here at the point of the democracy. And I'm going to talk about economy. You know, economy, what is economy in a very basic terminology? Something you develop at home and you take it out to the market, you sell it, you got money, you go back, you go to the market to buy some food and go back, and so on. This is how the economy was described very long time before even we understand any identification or theories about economy. So it's something you are producing and you're taking it to the market and you replace it with other things you needed. In Africa, our economy is fully linked to our natural resources. And when we are even putting it in the market, we don't add any value to it. So we give crude oil, we give raw materials, raw gold, raw diamond, raw iron, and so on. So all the materials we are bringing out, we are bringing it raw. Even our agriculture sector, which is a part of our economies in some of our member states like Ethiopia, like Kenya and others, we are giving the product as it is. We take it, we harvest it, we put it in containers and we send it out. How Africa can achieve an economic sustainability. I will take you to one of my slides when I was talking about inclusive economy. There's 2/3 of the world population, they are relying on the purchasing power of $5 a day. If Africa is able to produce innovations that respond to those 2/3 of the world population, and we're talking about 2/3 of 8 billion people, that will help us to sustain and maintain our economy. The Free Africa Trade Agreements is an opportunity for all our member states to leapfrog their economy and move forward with inclusive and community-based innovation. And trust me, if you earn 1 cent and you sell 10 million part to your national market, you will make a lot of money. So what I want to say, the only opportunity for Africa is to change the economic dimensions and pillars which we are focusing our economy on it, and to go for inclusive economy that build on inclusive innovation and community-based innovation. I hope this has answered some of the questions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you. We are satisfied. Thank you. Permit us to do the presentation at this point. We'd like everyone to hook up to the presentation and this special session, which is the honor session.
Today, the 18th of July 2020, it is our pleasure to honor 5 eminent Africans who have distinguished themselves through their contributions to development, humanitarian services and the very ideals by which the late Dr. Nelson Mandela lived. Excellencies, we present and invest on His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR as most outstanding African leader for his war on corruption that earned him the African Union Anti-Corruption Leader, his fight against COVID-19 that earned him the ECOWAS Champion of the Regional Response, his commitment to regional security and integration, and his development of agriculture, power, and technology. Congratulations, President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR.
I also take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and on my own behalf for entrusting me with the responsibility of serving as the champion of the sea of the year.
Your Excellencies, we honor His Excellency, President John Pombe Magufuli of Tanzania for his contributions to development of education and provision of public health care in Tanzania. We invest on him the African Development Honor. Congratulations to President John Pombe Magufuli. Your Excellencies, we honor His Excellency, President Paul Kagame of Rwanda for his immense contributions to youth empowerment. We invest on him the African Development Honor. Congratulations, Your Excellency, President Paul Kagame.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came together to make this inaugural Youth Connect Africa Conference.
We honor His Excellency, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, Director General, World Health Organization for his historic and immense contributions to public health safety, especially in the fight against COVID-19. We invest on him the African Development Honor. Congratulations, Your Excellency, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus.
They are people, they are individuals. And that's why we don't have secrets. And as soon as we get information, we pass it because we want to save lives, even if it's one life.
Your Excellencies, we honor His Excellency, Engineer Dr. Ahmed Hamdy, Executive Director, African Union Scientific, Technical, and Research Commission, for his unmatched contributions to development of science, technology and innovation on the continent. We invest on him the African Development Honor. Congratulations, Your Excellency, Engineer Dr. Ahmed Hamdy. Indeed, you all have impacted enormously on lives and development on the continent. As you continue with your good works, we congratulate you again and again.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being part of the event up until now. I hope you all watched the short clip we have shown. Your Excellency, are we there? As we break, because we have arrived at the closure of the event, the end of the event. This particular session, which is a lecture session, we have arrived at the end, and we'll break out to continue with other programs that are lined up for our conference for the celebration of the Nelson Mandela International Day. As we break up, we want to thank every participant, those that we've not been able to join and to accommodate in the conference room. We apologize. We thank you for being part of this event. We hope that the message has been transmitted, and we'll carry on the message and fly with the message and see how we can rapidly and fastly develop our continent. To end, I would like the chairman of this event to give a 1-minute breaking and wrapping up session. We invite His Excellency, Barrister Mohammed Abubakar, to give a wrap-up, a closing remark for the event. You're welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adams. I think the pleasure is very, very great for me to have participated in this epoch-making event. And I'll seize this opportunity to thank most profusely the presenter of the main paper, Dr. Hamdy, for a very, very well-researched paper and well-presented paper. I will thank all the other participants. And I think it's an event worth celebrating, not just the icon, Mandela Nelson Mandela, but also the fact that we are in a situation of a pandemic all over the world. And then the need arises for us to put our thinking caps to see how we can re-engineer our countries and the entire world post-COVID pandemic. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We appreciate it. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for being part of the event. We welcome you. For any more input, we'd like you to send your input and your recommendations and your email contact also to our official Twitter handle and WhatsApp number and our phone number and our email address, so that we can forward you the written speech, the speeches that have been delivered and the papers that have been delivered. Thank you very much all for participating. We bless you all. We are grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. End, right?